How can you reject the faith in God when you know that you were without life? It is He who gave you life. It is He who shall cause you to die. It is He who shall raise you back to life. And it is to Him that you ultimately have to return to. In another place, chapter 18, verse 37, God says, "Do you deny Him who created you out of dust, then out of a sperm drop, then fashioned you into a human being?" Chapter 23, verse 78 and 80, the same point is repeated in a different way. God says, "It is He who has created you and given you the faculties of hearing, seeing, feeling, and understanding. But little do you thank God. And He has multiplied you through the earth, and to Him shall you all be gathered back." The most important and fundamental message of the Quran is that this universe and everything that is in it is been created by God Almighty. He is one and only one, and He alone controls and sustains the entire universe. Dear brothers and sisters, the perfect order and harmony in the universe, the enchanting beauty, the inexhaustible creativity in nature, all this is an ample proof that this universe cannot be an accident of nature. Neither are there multiple gods who control and sustain this universe. No, the fact remains an undeniable fact that the controller, the sustainer, and the sovereign of this flawless universe is one and only one God, the Supreme. This is the greatest truth and the greatest reality. The Quran invites man to accept and acknowledge this truth, to accept and acknowledge this reality. At the same time, the Quran makes us understand that look, denial of this truth and reality and a rebellion against your master and creator will definitely land you into innumerable problems. And this is exactly what has happened today. We are facing problems in all aspects of our life: individual life, collective life, family life, social, economic, political, national life. There are problems everywhere. There is so much misery and suffering, violence, bloodshed, oppression, injustice, corruption, cheating, fraud, sexual abuse of women, killing of baby girls in millions, economic disparity, unbridled exploitation of natural resources, the drug-resistant diseases, viruses, the COVID-19 crisis, the ecological and environmental disasters, the looming threat of climate change and global warming, putting our very life on this planet at risk. All this and much more is the result of our own making, and of course the consequence of our refusal to obey God's commands and His laws. The Quran does not make belief in God a dogma. On the contrary, it convincingly and rationally proves the existence of God. The Quran encourages us to observe, to ponder, to reflect, to contemplate, to look at the perfect order and harmony in nature, the earth and the skies, the sun, the moon and the stars, the rivers and the mountains, the rotation of day and night, the change in seasons, the clouds laden with water, the speedy winds which disperse these clouds, and finally the wonderful rain that brings life to dead earth, the plants, the fruits, the crops, the vegetation, the birds and the animals, all for the benefit of man, all in the service of man. The Quran talks of the miraculous growth of the child in the mother's womb and its birth with all the beautiful faculties. The Quran speaks about the unaccountable favors and blessings and benevolence of God on mankind. All this is explained in a very heart-touching way in so many verses of the Quran. The purpose being that man should realize God and learn to be thankful to Him. And this can happen, this is possible only by accepting and acknowledging the sovereignty of God and submitting to His will, obeying His laws. Because the entire universe is submitting to His laws. It is in man's interest and welfare that he too submits and surrenders to God's will. When he does so, then his life will flower and blossom, and he will definitely attain true progress and development. The Quran makes us understand that this worldly life is, after all, only a test and trial for us. The real test, in fact, is how we behave and how we conduct ourselves in this short worldly life, befitting our position as the crown of the creation and as God's representative on earth. How we fulfill our duties and obligation towards our fellow human beings. How beneficial we prove ourselves to mankind and to the entire creation of God. The Quran reminds us again and again that ultimately we all have to return to our Master and Creator one day and give an account of our deeds. This worldly life is not the be-all and end-all. Success in the life to come, that is life after death, which is everlasting and eternal, is real success.